Greetings, folks. I am Pete Pardo from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day 3 of albums that are 50 years old in 2025. That's right. Brand new year. Brand new series. Once again, celebrating albums that are turning 50 years old, 50th birthdays or anniversaries, however you like to look at it. We're going back to 1975. A tremendous year for music. This was extremely hard, picking out 31 albums out of hundreds. There's way more than that, but ones that I could pick, right? The pool for me was literally in the hundreds. And just being able to pick out 31 is extremely difficult. So I am still kind of like tweaking my list because I have like a subset of albums that I desperately want to squeeze in this month. So I'm looking at all the ones I picked and thinking, all right, one of you, two of you, three of you, four of you might have to go in favor of some of these. That will be determined in the days ahead. I'm kind of still thinking about it. I'm not like doing anything definitive just yet. But I'm making some tweaks because it's hard. There's a lot of great albums in this month. A lot of great albums. Especially today's album. Today, another February baby here. This one was released February 1975, recorded at Toronto Sound Studios in Toronto, Canada, produced by the band and Terry Brown from Mercury Records. I'm talking about the second album from Rush, Fly By Night. One of the coolest album covers of all time, right? Yes, indeed. First with the new lineup, right? John Rutsey, original founding member and drummer, gone from the band in place of Neil Peart on drums, percussion, and lyrics, joining Alex Lifeson on all sorts of guitars, and Geddy Lee on bass and lead vocals. So what do we have on this album? So for those of you who are familiar with that first album, you know it's basically kind of balls to the wall, hard rock. People call it Zeppelin-y hard rock. I don't know. I never really thought it sounded anything like Zeppelin at all. But to me, it's definitely heavier and more metallic than a lot of Zeppelin stuff. But it's and plus you got the screechy vocals. But otherwise, I never really saw it as all that Zeppelin-y. It doesn't have first album doesn't have the acoustic mastery of Zeppelin, and it doesn't have like the blues and the folk and the hard rock mix. It's basically a hard rock album, maybe some blues elements, whatever. But anyway, the first album is great for what it is. It's very different. Bring Neil into the band, all of a sudden things are changing a little bit. All of a sudden, all three guys discover that, hey, we really love prog rock, right? Because at the time, you got bands like Yes and Genesis and King Crimson and Gentle Giant and Emerson, Lake and Palmer, all Jethro Tull, all doing some great stuff. These guys are influenced by that. They're influenced by Cream and The Who and Zeppelin and Sabbath and all that. You got all these different things that are coming together on this record. It starts off with Anthem, one of their most crushing heavy songs. I absolutely love Anthem, and I love that riff from Alex. Oh, so good. What a great opener. One of the great album openers of all time. It doesn't get enough credit for it. Best I Can, just good straight-ahead rocker. That could have come off the first album. Really good song. Beneath, Between, Behind. Very, very intelligent song. Love the way the arrangement is crafted. Just really, really good song. Very underrated on this album. And then, of course, their first big proggy statement, By-Tor and the Snow Dog. All, however many, 4 parts to it, right? This one clocks in at 8:37, right? They're one of their first big epics. By-Tor is so good. It's got that great kind of sound effect stuff coming from Alex's guitar in the midway point. It's heavy, it's proggy, it's very, very cool. Over on side 2, you got the very accessible, catchy title track, Fly By Night. Right, great chords from Alex, catchy song, chorus is very memorable, really good. You got Making Memories, right, one of the briefest songs on here, shortest songs on here. You got Rivendell, Haunting Rivendell, and then of course the last track, The Bruising in the End. A lot of variety on side 2 here. A lot of variety. I love, I just absolutely love Alex's guitar tone on some of these early albums. Really do. He was probably mostly playing either a Gibson 335 or a Les Paul, I believe. This is before he started experimenting with Strats and eventually, Paul Reed Smith and all sorts of other guitars. Here he's basically doing Gibson stuff, right? He's playing Gibsons. And whether it's the semi-hollow bodies or solid Les Pauls, he's getting some tones, man, on these albums. Just so good. And one of the things I also love about these early albums, most of the Rush albums actually, but especially early stuff. I mean, I love when the bass player is high up in the mix. When you got a really talented bass player and they are heard. We can talk all day about Neil's drumming, which of course we know is legendary and amazing. To me, he's one of the greatest drummers ever. But man, Geddy's bass playing, even this early on, up front in the mix doing some gymnastic stuff. It's heavy. It's just, nimble. You can tell that he grew up listening to guys like Jack Bruce and John Entwistle and Chris Squire, right? You knew that those are his kind of mentors, but man, he forged his own path and just some amazing bass playing on here. So, really, really great album. One of the great second albums of all time. I really dig it a lot. And let's take a look at the charts. Canada, this made it to number 9. All right, so already with the second album up in their home country, band's starting to get noticed. Here in the States, made it to 113. The debut album was pretty much ignored, didn't do much of anything, but 113. All of a sudden starting to maybe get a little airplay. You know the story. A couple radio stations in Detroit, right down across the border, right, starting to pick up on Rush before you know it. The upper Midwest here in the States starting to play stuff on the radio. And within a couple of years, boom, Rush is starting to take off. As far as like certifications go, Canada, platinum, 100,000 units sold. Here in the States, this eventually, it's probably more than that now, but eventually did go platinum. 1 million copies sold, right? Of course, some of the older Rush albums had to play catch-up. Once Rush, with 2112 started to sell bigger numbers, all of a sudden people are like, oh, they have a couple other albums out. I gotta go check these out, right? And then they start selling. That's usually how that works, right? Especially with newer bands, right? And as far as singles go, Fly By Night, the title track, released April 23rd, 1975. All right, so shortly after the album's released. And yeah, that makes sense as being the single from the album, right? There's better songs in my opinion, but that's the big catchy number, right? That's totally deserving of being a radio hit, right? So yeah, that is my pick for today. There they are, looking all sorts of young, right? Love the owl, absolutely love the owl. I have a hoodie of this album cover that I've had for ages. I bought from Steve Keeler at Rock Fantasy like 1,000,000 years ago, and I still have it. I still wear it. It's amazing. For those of you who came to see Tranquility Fall Fest, I wore it for the first time. I wore it out for the first time in a while, but just totally dig it. So that's my pick for today. Pick number 3. For those of you keeping track, Rush released 2 albums this year in 1975. Will we see another? It's probably a good bet that we will. Because, unlike some people, I really like Caress of Steel a lot. So stay tuned. You could possibly see that later in the month, along with all sorts of other good stuff. So thanks for watching, everybody. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together. All the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit that like button before you leave. Very, very important, right? For that whole YouTube algorithm thing. The more likes we get on the videos, the more YouTube pushes the videos out to people who haven't seen us before. That's the whole point, right? To reach new people. And we love our existing people, but want to reach those people just like you who probably would love this channel if only they discovered it. So please hit the like button. Very important. We've also got the links to help out the channel down below. Ko-Fi, the merch page, the Cameo page, and of course the Sea Tranquility membership options. All that stuff is below. So thanks for investigating that and helping out. We greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you tomorrow for day number 4 coming up on the channel. Martin Popoff and I are coming up in just a little bit, so stay tuned for the Funhouse. And we got the Professor's Picks coming up later this afternoon. We've got Jamie Laszlo and the review crew tomorrow. We've got ranking the albums of the great Dutch prog band Trace on Sunday. And you might see a few other things because I've got some other stuff cooking, little solo shows, topics and stuff that I'll be doing. So you might see a few things from me. I think I have a New Year's resolution type of thing that I'm going to be doing today. More just talking about things I'd like to do here on the channel. Little look back to 2024, New Year's Eve stuff, all that sort of thing. So that should be coming up probably later today. So till then, I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you soon. Bye-bye.